3:43 in the morning, and doesn't matter. Just another day for Virat Kohli. It might be Independence Day, it might be West Indies, it doesn't matter. Just goes out, strokes 100, number 43, whatever. Aakash Chopra is here, Zaheer Khan is here.
Where is your throne? Where is your throne, Harsha?
My throne, it's a bit like Virat Kohli's centuries, you know.
You're getting too used to it, is it? First innings, second innings, India winning the game. Both of us were of the opinion that it might just be West Indies tonight, but wasn't the case. Virat Kohli is special, but more importantly, I think Shreyas Iyer. Eventually, of course, maybe man of the match could possibly be Virat Kohli. My vote for that award and the match-changing, match-defining knock would go to Shreyas Iyer.
There were potholes on the way, there's not to deny, there were potholes on the way, but Virat Kohli just learns to steer his way around them down there, doesn't he? And we all thought it might be tough. It turned out to be an absolute walk in the park. 240 for 7, the West Indies from 35 overs. The Duckworth Lewis turn revised target for India was 255 in 35. And then Virat Kohli 114 of 99. Shreyas Iyer was magnificent. I actually thought Shreyas Iyer took a lot of pressure away from Virat Kohli from the way he batted. Shikhar Dhawan got 36. And someone you don't mention, because he plays that role so often quietly. Kedar Jadhav comes back, gets his 19, 20, not sure how many did he finish with today? 19 of 12. It plays his part.
It was not an easy surface, I think. That's why Kedar's 20 also is valuable. I think the way Shreyas batted, you're spot on. He took the pressure off Virat. At that stage, it was very critical because losing 2 wickets in quick succession puts a lot of pressure on Virat at that stage in the game. And Shreyas beautifully just took that pressure away, hit those 3 crucial sixes in that phase, ended up hitting 5 sixes in his innings. But those 2-3 sixes which he hit at that stage, that too to Fabian Allen. I think, you know, that was the tough thing to do to a left-arm spinner on that track. So that was a really special innings which really set the platform. And then Virat being a chase master, I think, you know, that tough phase was, once that phase was away, then I think he knew that, you know, he will get the team home.
I just got the impression very briefly when Virat was about 55 or thereabouts, that maybe he was losing concentration, he was trying too hard, he was admonishing himself a lot, he was playing some unusual shots. And I think that is where Shreyas' role became even more important, because he just took the pressure away. And Virat then started motoring again.
You know, what makes Virat so special and how he is slightly different, perhaps a lot different from the rest, is that there is no ego involved. So yes, you're right. And we were all discussing, yes, he might just be losing his way there. But then, of course, Shreyas Iyer just took the mantle and he actually became the aggressor, accelerated the scoring, 41 balls, 65, not just those 3 sixes, but 5 in total, like Zaheer mentioned. But it was also important for Virat Kohli to understand at that point in time, and he did it perfectly. It doesn't matter. I don't have to be the hero. I could possibly happily be a hero's brother for the time being. Let the young kid who's batting well take center stage. I'll just play second fiddle because my job is to take the team home. If I remain unbeaten, India will win this series comprehensively. And Shreyas Iyer can actually go about doing his business, and I'm not going to match him shot to shot. And that also tells you we saw how he structures his innings in that 42nd 100. In the 43rd 100, we came to know that there is no such thing as ego when it comes to Virat Kohli's batting, and that's why he's a champion.
3 boundaries and 5 sixes for Shreyas Iyer. You'll remember that. To me, an equal highlight was when he wasn't hitting the sixes, he was just casually nudging the ball, trotting across single at the non-striker's end.
That was important as well, isn't it? Because once you hit those sixes, you got to back it up with once the game was under control. You know, you don't want to just go berserk and keep looking for those high risk shots which can get you in trouble. Which Shreyas showed that maturity as well in that phase of just making sure rotating the strike and that is something which was I think a good enough sign that he's claiming that that number 4, that promotion. He's asking for that. That's saying, okay, I'm matured enough. I can handle the situation. Give me an opportunity. If I have more time, I'll be able to build innings in even more constructively.
I think it's got it. So the white ball phase is over. It's interesting. We saw Navdeep Saini in the first T20. We saw Krunal Pandya as the player of the series. So there were 2 big pluses there. Shreyas Iyer, a big plus for you. Deepak Chahar took 3 for 4. So there's a lot of new talent coming through. In at least in the white ball game, we'll see what happens in the test match game. But what's been the biggest plus for you?
In one-day cricket, if you talk specifically, then of course it has to be Shreyas Iyer. Batting at number 5, 71
Not for long.
Not for long, but then the
Yeah.
next one day is in December. So he might just still be there. He didn't play in the T20Is. It was Manish Pandey who actually got the nod ahead of Shreyas Iyer. And Manish hasn't done anything radically wrong to be dropped in the next T20I whenever India plays. So Shreyas Iyer, yes, he's been excellent. 71 in the second ODI,
Yes.
68 ball once again, 5 boundaries, 1-6. Strike rate is still very healthy. And when you talk about the third ODI, I think he was exceptional. He just came to the fore. And you really like when a batsman is taking control, taking center stage, and he's evolving with every passing game. Grew in confidence. It was there for everyone to see. So yes, he is asking, he's shouting from rooftop that I should be batting at number 4, and team will recognize that as well. And it's not just like an insight into his game, but also a lesson to the guy who actually batted at 4, who threw his wicket away. That's Rishabh.
I'm going to come to that. I didn't want that to become the centerpiece of the conversation because
It wasn't. That's why at the tail end.
we talk a lot about Rishabh Pant. But your view on the 3 players that we noticed in the T20 and Shreyas Iyer, a big plus for you?
Has to be. I think he's someone who has been waiting for that opportunity, isn't it? And having scored in that second ODI, given him enough freedom to take those risks as well today, and that's something which confidence does to you. So he was able to play freely because of the innings which he played in the second ODI,
Yes.
and with more chances, like he was mentioning in his interview as well a while ago, that he needed more opportunities. But if you're batting like this, then there is no doubt that you will be able
will be
to
many more, yeah.
cement that position and will be able to express yourself more often, more freely.
Number 43 for Virat Kohli, but also number 9 against the West Indies. There's only one other Indian player who's got 9 centuries against an opponent, and that was Tendulkar against Australia. Gee, those tussles were something else. Tendulkar 98 to 2000, 2001 against Australia was fantastic. If some of you, I know I'm going back 20 years, if some of you are only 25 years old and didn't see that phase of Tendulkar's batting, you have no idea what you missed. 900s against Australia. Now Virat can say, I've got 9 too, even though he's got them against the West Indies. But in his last 9 innings against the West Indies, he's got 6. It's a factory. It's a very beautiful factory, but it's a factory.
See, how they come, where they come, who
Doesn't
they come against, it does not matter.
Right.
And it's not a team that you play very often. And these are the 9 games that we have just highlighted. There's 116 that I see in Mumbai, 33 not out in Thiruvananthapuram, and then 72 in
That
Old
was the World
Trafford,
Cup
which was
game,
the
yeah.
World Cup. And rest, you just see centuries, 111, 140, 157 not out. He is a run machine. And the best part is, yes, you understand that West Indies bowling attack isn't the best in the world. But then, not to become complacent, just to understand you start from scratch
Hang
every
on.
single time you go out.
Who is he playing his next 3 one-days against?
It's against the West Indies.
Against the West Indies in India. In December, against the West Indies in India. Who knows how many he'll be with the... Because as you said, India's next one day is only in December. India play test matches and T20s now. But yeah, one absolutely wonderful innings from Virat Kohli. He is my 11th circle most valuable player in terms of the number of points scored, 114 and 99 balls, excellent strike rate. Notice there too, 14 boundaries. He didn't feel the need to go over the top in every sense of the expression. He plays one-day cricket in a very traditional way, doesn't he? He's almost very correct. He doesn't feel the need to hit those big ones, and yet he's got the strike rate that he needs.
But in this series, you could see a stark difference to the World Cup. I think that World Cup loss has hurt him badly. You could just see that that drive, that fire, that anger is also back. And I think when you look at Virat's career, that anger also has played a huge role. I think in his success. He needs to be showing that. Like in this series, you would see that he was showing his emotions a lot. was also a testimony to the fact that he wanted it badly, and that's something which has been the hallmark of his career. So it's great to see him. That determination is still there. That passion, that fire, and that consistency has always been there. So every time I look at him, the only one word which comes to my mind is that outstanding drive which he has. He's a driven personality, and just by sheer body language, he has that effect on the team as well. He inspires and motivates everyone to put in that extra bit which is required at this level.
Now, you mentioned Virat Kohli's batting has no ego.
Yeah.
From what you studied batsmanship far more than I've had. But batsmanship to me is a combination of confidence and humility. Confidence to know that you can go and do it, and humility to respect a good ball, humility to respect a phase in an innings when you need to stay back. Do you think that is something the number 4 that you mentioned just needs to understand a little bit more? Maybe respect the ball for a little while? Or is it just, he's got just so much ability, he sees opportunity everywhere? We're talking of Rishabh Pant, of course.
It doesn't matter how many, what's the volume of ability you have, unless you're able to display it time and again and consistently. When you're batting at 4, you get an opportunity to bat 30, 35 overs. Of course, this game was only 35 overs, but then he stepped out, just danced down the track. First ball that he faced, in his head, he may be 100% certain that first ball I play a big shot, I can actually deposit it into the stands. That's how he actually opened his test account as well. But then there comes a time in your career where you must understand, must realize that you got to respect the opportunity that you're getting. And if that is not the case on a consistent basis, there are people waiting in the wings. Number 4 is the most debated slot in Indian cricket history for the last, 24 months. That's what we've been debating all the while. And we've tried as many as, 14, 15 players. He is the latest candidate, contender for that slot. And it seems he's already lost that spot to Shreyas Iyer. He might just still be on 5 or at 6. But even to be there for a longer period of time, he needs to just respect the opportunities that he's getting, and that can only be done by just playing himself a little while, and also just acknowledging that you can't hit every single ball. There has to be game awareness. Game awareness is something that you learn as you grow, and he's got that in T20 cricket. He's got that in Test match cricket. One day format, he's still not been able to crack.
Yes, we'll wait and see. So that was Rishabh Pant. Now, my 11th circle beat the champion. Let's see who won it today. Whopping 526 points for Rajesh Kumar from Rajasthan. Kya baat hai, Rajesh Kumar bhaiya? Dada ka wada tha. I wonder how much Dada scored today, because remember, it's 3 times more than what Dada scored. So it's 5-0 then for India across 5 games. And the one game that India did not win was a game nobody won. That was in Guyana. That was the first one-day international on the 8th of August. 2 games in Florida by 4 runs and by the DLS method, 22 runs. Then in Guyana, the first one by 7 wickets. And then in Trinidad, where a lot of Indians have good batting records, by 59 runs and 6 wickets, both by Duckworth Lewis-Stern. So as you can see, the rain has had a part to play, but could only affect one result. Now, 2 test matches to come, of course, in Antigua and Jamaica. All the new test players will be going across there. They've been posting selfies, Ishant and Rane and Ashwin. Every one of them has a beard, though, by the way, because when they give you the India cap, they say contingent. If you don't have a beard, we take it back. So, of the 2 people in our box, only Zach would have made the Indian team today, not you.
So, Prithvi Shaw failed the doping test or the beard test?
Very sadly, the beard test.
He doesn't have a beard.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
It's established with doping.
Now, time for just the joy factor. Joy factor today was like the mid-phase of a Virat Kohli innings, where the field is spread out, you knock a single to cover. This was what the question was, and you'll realize why we're saying that. In 1990, who made his test debut in a game where another player became the youngest ever to make a test century for his country? 1990, youngest ever to make a test century was Tendulkar in that second test match. This day, Well, it was meant to be this day, but you know, these days cricket matches don't end on the day they start. Of course, we are in a different country. It ended on the day it started in the West Indies, of course. But that was also the day Anil Kumble made his test match debut. And wasn't a bad day, was it, in retrospect? Tendulkar's first 100 and Kumble the first, what, 619?
So the funny thing that actually Anil says about it is that they almost started together, so to
Yes.
speak. So Sachin had to prove everyone right because everybody thought that he is that child prodigy who's going to rule the world, and which he did. And Anil had to prove everyone wrong. Because everyone thought that, okay, leg spin is not bowled like this. You can't be fast in the air and not turn the ball so much. If there's no guile, there is no loop, there is no drift, there is no turn, you can't be a leg spinner. So every time he went out, he was trying to prove people wrong. Sachin was trying to prove people
know
right.
what?
And both succeeded.
If you can take 600 test wickets without turning a ball,
619.
why on earth would you want to turn a ball?
True?
And it's not that he didn't turn the ball, but if you can take 600 wickets, what's the problem, right?
You got to be accurate, and leg spinners are not often. They need to really work hard to be accurate, and Kumble was one of them who would just
He was.
be at it all the time.
You know, funny thing is that we are all products of our environment, and it was our failure, experts, whoever, we were not there at that time, perhaps you were, that there were people who thought
Very subtle. Very subtle.
leg spinners have to be a certain way. So it's our failure to understand the craft. So because we grew up
So
seeing
maybe he
leg
was a
spin
wrist
of a different
spinner.
kind,
Maybe he was a wrist spinner.
he was a one of a kind. You haven't seen Anil Kumble since then, or a similar kind of bowler. But these are the bowlers. You don't see Malinga, you don't see Bumrahs. So it's sometimes it's our own failure to understand the craft, and therefore we demean it. But Anil Kumble actually proved that just keep that aside. If somebody has the class and craft to take wickets, that's the only thing that.
I wish you'd seen B.S. Chandrasekhar, the other man from Karnataka in his prime, but you're too young for that. All these children in the walk these days. Right, there was a winner as well, and the winner came very quickly, as you'd imagine. The winner was Rohit Yadav, Crick Rohit. He's got access to Joy's database, so we're just waiting to see. There will be a day when at Crick Rohit will get the answer before Joy sets the question, and Joy will then say, "Excuse me, I got your answer, but do you know what my question is?" Well, there you are. That's it from Cricbuzz Live for the moment. We will be back with you when the T20s against South Africa start. Remember, 3 T20s, then the Test matches, and then Bangladesh arrive. They play 3 T20s as well. They play 2 Test matches, and then the West Indies come. So we'll be with you for all the limited overs leg of that series on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. This series, of course, also came in association with the Weather Channel, which was very appropriate given the role that the weather played, but it couldn't affect the result more than that. So 5-0 to India from the 6 games with 2 games left. It's time to say thank you and good morning to Aakash Chopra and Zaheer Khan. Zaheer Khan's handling it quite well. Aakash Chopra struggling.
I'm thinking about where to get my bread, eggs, and milk from on the way back home. I'll get it. I'm sorted.
And he's. Are you going straight to your daughter's school for flag?
Yeah, flag hoisting. Yes, you're right.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
So you're not sleeping till?
God knows. Till I collapse.
The coolest one will go straight to bed when he
But
gets
this
up.
is his bedtime, so there is a
Keep
slight,
timer, 8
slight-
hours,
slight
8 hours.
difference.
There you go. There you go. So thank you very much and a very happy Independence Day to all of you. We'll be back very shortly when the South Africa series starts on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.